If you've been struggling to grow your hair for a while, or you're dealing with particularly damaged hair and you're looking for something that can help give it a little bit of a boost and a helping hand along the way on its growth journey, then this video is for you. I'm going to be showing you how to make a herbal infused hair oil that's really good for supporting the scalp and encouraging hair growth. As you can see, I have very long hair. I used to have hair that was longer than this. I then had dreadlocks for a number of years, and when I brushed those out I was left with very damaged hair. It was very thin. I can put a picture in here so you can just see how damaged it was, and for the last couple of years I've just been regrowing it and doing everything I can to help it along. So when it comes to hair growth, there's no kind of quick fix solution. It just takes patience and time, and it takes nourishing your body and making sure that you're eating enough and enough of the right things, fats and proteins, to help the hair grow, and that you're very nourished. That will really support your hair growth journey, but there's no harm in giving things a bit of a helping hand along the way. So I will show you the hair oil that I frequently make and that I made as part of my hair regrowth journey, and I'm just using a couple of different things for it. It's very simple, and the only thing you will need is patience. So let's make some hair oil. So what we're going to be doing is creating an herbal infused oil that we can rub onto the scalp and into the lengths of the hair to help it grow and get nice and strong. And there are 3 herbs that I'm choosing for this. There's a lot of different ones that you could try, but one of these is nettle, and of course everyone knows nettle. It's a weed. It's actually an incredibly valuable, nutritious and incredible plant, and it's full of vitamins, and it's good for working with the hair and working with the scalp, and it is abundant everywhere. And if you don't have access to these things, you can also order them online as well. But this is the nettle that I've got. I then have some horsetail, mare's tail. There's a few different names for it, and this is really good because it contains silica, which is good for getting the hair nice and strong. So this is a good one to use in hair oils. And then maybe the best one of all for hair is rosemary. And yes, it's just a plant that you use to season food, but rosemary is really good with hair growth, and this is a herb that they've actually done clinical trials on, testing it against Rogaine and things like that for hair loss and hair regrowth, and it showed really promising results. So definitely putting rosemary in there to make our infused oil. So when it comes to making any herbal infused oil, you can use either fresh or dried herbs. And the only reason that a lot of people prefer to use dried herbs is because oil can get mouldy, and when you're introducing fresh herbs, obviously they have water content in them, that can encourage mold to grow. So you just have to be a lot more wary and checking up on it and making sure that mold hasn't developed in it. So if you want to just avoid that altogether, then you can just use dried herbs to infuse your oil, and you don't have to worry about that in the same way that you would with fresh herbs. So first things first, I'm just going to add the herbs to the jar. And I'm going to not absolutely stuff it, but not have it too empty either, and just go for a little bit of a mix. So let's put in some nettle. Now that I've got my herbs in the jar, I'm just going to fill it with oil. And there's different types of oil that you can use for this. It really just depends on personal preference and what you've got available. So olive oil is a really good all-rounder. You can use argan oil, rosehip oil, sweet almond oil, and the one that I've got today, which is jojoba oil. And I just have good experience using this on the skin, things like that, so I thought it would be nice for a hair oil, scalp oil. And I'm just gonna fill this pretty much to the top. Then what I like to do is just go in with the end of a spoon, or you can use a chopstick or something like that, just to get out any of those air bubbles. We want to try and get rid of as many as possible. And then also what you can do with this, depending on how you like to do things, is you can just put an intention into it. So as you stir this or press the air bubbles out, you can just imagine the thing that you want to happen and the energy that you want to put into this oil. So you want it to be growth and energy and vibrancy, nourishment and life, and you want obviously hair growth. So you can think about these things and just put the intention into the oil. And now I'm just going to pop a little label on the top with the date and the contents. What is the date? Oh yes. And there you have it, that is the hair oil all done. And now all we need to do is just put this into somewhere cool and away from direct sunlight, and I'm just going to let this infuse for about 4 to 6 weeks. And I will just check in periodically because the herbs could absorb some of the oil, so I just might want to top it up and just check for air bubbles and things like that as well, and make sure that there aren't any in there. And once that's done, I'm just going to strain it through, and then I like to put it into one of these little containers. So I do like the dark glass, and this one has just got a little dropper. And then in terms of the application into the hair, I literally just get some on the dropper and then I run it through my scalp like this, just putting as much on as I feel to kind of coat it a little bit. And then I will just give myself a really good scalp massage and just, yeah, work it into the roots and the scalp. And I like to leave it on for as long as possible, a couple of hours, something like that. You can leave it on overnight if you want to, but I think a couple of hours is fine. And that's it, that's all I do. And just make sure to label it with dates and stuff like that, so you know what everything is and how long it's been there. So that is it. It's short and sweet, and it's not complicated at all. Just involves choosing the herbs that will help you with what you're trying to achieve and the ones that are going to work best for your journey, and just popping them into some oil. And the main thing is just patience. With hair, a lot of the time it does come down to patience, so just letting this infuse, and obviously waiting for the hair to grow as well. And there are methods for trying to speed things up and do things more quickly. One of the things that you can do if you're really in a rush and you just want something quick is to heat the oil gently over the stove with the herbs that you want and let them infuse that way. I do prefer to just be patient and wait, because then you're not harming any of the good qualities of the herbs and anything like that by exposing them to heat. So you can do that if you're pressed for time, but this is just something that I like to do, and I just leave it there to infuse. And the trickiest part of this is just straining it and getting all the bits out. Another thing that you can do with rosemary, if anyone's interested, is it is involving heat, but you can simmer it over the stove. Fresh sprigs of rosemary, quite a good amount, and then cover the pot with a lid so that all the steams stay in, they don't just evaporate, and then it should become this really nice dark red kind of colour. You can put this in a spray bottle and you can spray this onto the scalp as well, and that's something that I definitely did a lot in the early days when I was trying to regrow my hair, and I felt like that was great as well. Rosemary is just one of those all-rounder great things for hair, and it's a really nice herb to use. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend it with me. And if you want to see any other herbal infusion recipes for oils or teas or anything like that, just let me know in the comments what's bothering you or what you want to work with, and I will put something together that you can use. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I hope you enjoy your hair oil, and I shall see you again very soon, hopefully. Bye.